Our Office for TV and Radio caught up with some of the ordinands to get their reflections on all of this. Let's take a look.
Great.
As a young child, I certainly felt the call to be a priest. It wasn't necessarily encouraged at that time. Went on to high school, went on to college, fell away from the faith for a while, went into journalism, so I was in the newspaper business, and roughly about 10 years ago, kind of returned to my faith. And then the more I returned to the faith, the more that calling to serve Christ as a priest came back, and I answered that call. I'm 46, but I think that in my case it works to my advantage because I wouldn't have been as good a priest as maybe I'm going to be now when I was 26. I needed to see life, I needed to experience some things and be humbled. I think I have a compassion now that I wouldn't have had when I was 26.
I was involved in youth groups here in Chicago, in the Chicago area, and I felt the call to enter the seminary. At that moment, I wasn't sure if I wanted to be a priest, but I felt the call to do something with my life, which I wasn't sure what it was, but it became clear later on during the process in the seminary. I have done a few baptisms, and that is one of the things that really moves my heart, because you get to bring new Christians into the church every time you do a baptism. Well, I'm from Durango, Mexico, which is in the north part of Mexico. I grew up in a really small village, but everybody's Catholic, was Catholic in that village, and it was like part of my life all the time.
Well, I've actually wanted to be a priest ever since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I've always said that's what I would do. When I graduated high school, though, I wanted to travel and see the world, so I joined the military. I did that for about 6 years, and just towards the end of that time, I just wasn't feeling as fulfilled as I thought I should be, and I started to have that call again towards priesthood. And so when I got out of the service, I started pursuing that again and entered the seminary. My parents will be here. They're from Georgia, so they're coming in town for that, and pretty excited to have my mom and dad here for it. So I guess what I'm looking forward to most after ordination is celebrating the sacraments, Mass, reconciliation, baptism. I love doing baptisms. I think those are the things I'm looking forward to the most, just being with the people.
We choose these our brothers for the order of the priesthood.
Thanks be to God.
I'm from Kenya, and when I was growing up as a kid, I started falling in love with priesthood, and I was an altar boy from the age of 7, and I've always been there. And for me, a priest was a source of leadership, was a source of purpose in the community. So most kids in my family or in my neighborhood, they only think of two things, a priest and a teacher. So it was something natural from the family. Once I'm ordained, I'm looking forward to working with the Hispanic. I've done some Spanish, not so good, but I hope I'm going to improve with time. Where I come from, the church is so lively, and each time I attend an Hispanic Mass, it's so lively.
I just want to be the moment of life-changing moment, not only for me, but for all of those guys who are here, for my mom, who came from Poland, from my Ordination, and my friend, who is a associate pastor in my home parish in Poland. He came to see me here. He's a representative of my parish here in Chicago, from Poland, from priest from Poland, and I just want to be this moment to be for me and for my family as well. The only thing I'm looking for is just to bring people to God, bring people to heaven. That's our goal, heaven, and that's where we are leaders. We are the shepherds who lead people to Jesus, to heaven.
When I was a sophomore in high school, I had a great religion teacher, and she introduced me to theology. I fell in love with the discipline, and I knew that I discovered my life's work. So, and at the same time, I sort of discovered my vocation. So they kind of came from the same thing. I'm looking forward to the moment of the ordination ceremony that everybody talks about, which is really the prostrations during the Litany of Saints. It was very powerful for me during the deacon ordination, and I'm sure it'll be twice as powerful for the priesthood. Certainly just, to be prostrate on the floor, giving your entire self over to God as, the men and women who have come before us in the faith are invoked to come to our assistance and our aid. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. I'm certainly looking forward to working with young people, with young adults, with professionals in their 20s and 30s, people who are at a moment in their life when they really have everything that they might want materially, but could still very much be looking for something more than that. And I hope certainly to be a guide for them and to show them what may be lacking in some of their lives is God.